Poland has been divided, crushed, and erased from maps more than once. It resisted the Nazis, survived the Soviets, and rose from the ruins scarred by history. Now, as the war in Ukraine shatters borders and certainties, something quiet and profound is unfolding in the heart of Eastern Europe. Tanks roll down highways at night. Attack helicopters land on newly built military bases. Thousands of missiles are delivered to undisclosed depots, and troops are constantly mobilizing near the Belarusian border. The new Poland is no longer willing to wait for the next strike. It wants to prevent it. And to do so, it is silently building the largest land army in Europe, an army that already surpasses Germany in firepower. An army capable of reshaping the military balance of the continent. But what exactly is driving this transformation? Who's orchestrating it? And what does it mean for European security as a whole? When Russian tanks pushed toward Kyiv in February 2022, Poles didn't just see a distant invasion. They saw a grim reflection of their own past. To Warsaw, this wasn't just an external conflict. It was an immediate threat. A threat far too real to rely solely on NATO promises, Washington's delays, or Brussels' indecision. The decision was made. Poland would become strong enough to face Russia even if it had to do it alone. And that's how the largest military revolution in Europe since the end of the Cold War began. Multi-billion-dollar contracts were signed with South Korea. Over 1,000 K2 Black Panther tanks, ultra-modern armored beasts equipped with reactive armor, thermal sensors, and devastating firepower. Hundreds of K9 howitzers followed, with ranges beyond 40 kilometers and full mobility to support frontline troops. And Poland also received FA-50 light fighter jets, fast and flexible enough to provide air support in any terrain or weather. But that was only the beginning. In the United States, Poland ordered 32 Apache helicopters capable of wiping out armored columns before they even reached the border. They acquired Patriot systems, HIMARS launchers, advanced radars, and high-tech air defense systems. Investments have already exceeded $30 billion. For any other European nation, this would seem excessive. For Poland, it's the bare minimum for survival. While other nations hesitate, Warsaw accelerates. There's no time for endless parliamentary debates. Contracts are signed, factories expanded, soldiers recruited. The armed forces have already announced an increase to over 300 highly trained troops. New military bases are being built near the eastern border. Poland doesn't want to be rescued by NATO. It wants to be the shield that protects all of Europe. Because for Poland, relying on the goodwill of allies is a risk no longer worth taking. But this decision didn't come out of nowhere. It stems from centuries of trauma, invasions, and irreversible loss. In 1939, the country was brutally carved up between Hitler and Stalin in a shadowy pact. Within days, Poland ceased to exist as a sovereign nation. Millions died. Millions were deported. And when World War II ended, the Poles were not liberated, they were handed over to the Soviet Union. For 4 decades, they lived under communist rule, censorship, repression, and foreign military occupation. These memories were never forgotten. On the contrary, they became national doctrine. For Poland's leaders, security is not an abstract concept, it's a matter of survival. Even after the fall of the Soviet Union, Russia never stopped being perceived as a constant threat. The invasion of Georgia, the annexation of Crimea, the hybrid attacks in Estonia, the threats to Lithuania, and the growing militarization of Belarus all form a clear and dangerous pattern in Polish eyes. And in that pattern, Poland knows exactly what role it would play in a future conflict. While Western nations see war as something distant, Poland sees it lurking just beyond the horizon. Sirens may not be wailing yet, but military drills continue non-stop. Political speeches leave no room for doubt. The defense minister has already made it clear. Poland must become so strong that no one dares to challenge it, not out of pride, but out of strategy, because waiting for others to help might cost too much. There's also a powerful geopolitical dimension to this transformation. With Germany hesitating, France divided, and the United States swinging between full support and political retreat, Warsaw saw a unique opportunity to take the lead. Poland is emerging as a new center of gravity for Eastern European security. Clear, decisive voice amid widespread ambiguity. And this ambition is backed by something often underestimated in other countries: overwhelming public support. Recent polls show that the vast majority of Poles approve of massive defense spending, reflecting a collective awareness that war is not a distant possibility, it's a real and present threat. This mindset, deeply rooted in Polish society, wasn't forged by the war in Ukraine alone. It was built by generations who learned firsthand the price of being unprepared. These historical traumas shaped a national security vision where caution isn't enough, readiness is essential. Even after the Soviet collapse, Moscow remained an unpredictable source of instability. The invasion of Georgia in 2008, the annexation of Crimea in 2014, hybrid attacks in the Baltics, threats to Lithuania, and the militarization of Belarus form an unmistakable and alarming pattern for Warsaw. In this scenario, Poland knows exactly what to expect. That's why, while Western countries debate hypothetical wars, Poland trains as if one were already underway. No sirens are needed to remind them of the constant danger. Military exercises are relentless. Political messaging is direct. This isn't about nationalism, it's about strategic realism. Because putting your security in the hands of others is a gamble Poland refuses to take. Poland sees a once-in-a-generation opportunity. It's determined to become a new regional power affirm, indisputable anchor for Eastern European security. In the face of unclear messages and hesitations from global powers, Warsaw offers a sharp, steady voice. And there's another silent but decisive factor: the will of the Polish people. In Poland, fear of war doesn't paralyze, it mobilizes. Recent polls show overwhelming support for increased military investments. Because in Poland, war is not a vague future scenario, it's a living memory. What's happening in Polish territory goes far beyond simple military modernization. It's a paradigm shift. Warsaw isn't just buying tanks. It's redesigning its entire war doctrine, repositioning strategic forces, radically transforming its defense industry, and actively preparing for a real conflict. And the numbers are already revealing this dramatic shift. Poland has surpassed Germany in heavy armor, surpassed the UK in active troops. It's acquiring F-35 fighters, Apache helicopters, HIMARS launchers, K-2 tanks from South Korea, and K-9 howitzers. It has signed local production agreements, signaling that this transformation is permanent. The official goal is clear: build the largest ground army in Europe. Not just in size, but in real-world capability, full NATO interoperability, and absolute deterrence. Every weapon system purchased, every soldier trained to the limit, every military exercise near Belarus carries the same message: Poland will not be caught off guard again. It will not be a transit zone in the next war. It will resist. It will strike back. And above all, it's ready to lead. Behind closed doors in NATO, this new reality is causing discomfort. Poland is acquiring a level of strategic independence never seen before. If the US pulls back, Warsaw already has deals with South Korea and Israel. If Germany hesitates in the face of a sudden crisis, Poland can mobilize within hours. If NATO gets stuck in bureaucracy and hesitation, Poland won't wait. The geopolitical chessboard in Eastern Europe is changing fast. The Baltic Sea has become a vital strategic theater. Belarus is now an armed Russian satellite. Ukraine remains engulfed in war. And at the center of it all, Poland rises not just as a fortress, but as a catalyst. A nation that doesn't merely respond to threats, but redefines them. In Brussels, Berlin, and Washington, a troubling question is beginning to emerge. If Poland is truly ready to fight alone, who is really leading Europe's security today? And if continental stability depends more on Warsaw than any other capital, what does that say about the new balance of power? Poland is preparing, not just to survive, but to lead.